Hey guys, I'm the Philosopher, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Console Explosion podcast. This episode was all about movies. You had the Star Wars Rogue One trailer being dropped, you had Doctor Strange trailer being dropped, and you also had news of the new Spider-Man movie in the making, Spider-Man Homecoming. We even have a little bit of news dropped by Jared about the new Batman being made, so all that and more in the Console Explosion. And one question before I go, do you guys think that we are having too many comic book movies? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But as always, I'm the Philosopher, and thank you guys so much for watching the show. I hope you enjoy.
What do I want? No, the characters I thought were okay and what he was doing. I just didn't like what JJ did with like the way the aesthetics looked in some situations. Or I don't know. I'm actually really excited for Rogue One because that's the same director that did Godzilla, the remake. Really good. That guy has, I would say, really good pacing and a really good idea about how he wants things to look. And I'm really excited for that film because it's going to be a visual thrill ride. Along with potential, there were some really corny lines in the Rogue One trailer. We had like, "This is a rebellion, isn't it? I rebel." That was just a really bad line. And I'm like, oh, I really hope they cut that out of the movie. Yeah.
I will admit that one was a bit cheesy.
Yeah, but as far as like visually, what they can do with that film, in the sense that you don't necessarily know what's going to happen with all the characters. And the same, because you know these people probably die. So at the end of this, I'm going to wait for some kind of really crazy reveal where you see Vader and he just slaughters everyone in that resistance cell that got the information about the Death Star. Right. And they just end it in this horrific, like, horror movie slaughter fest for the last, like, 5 minutes along the lines of Jinro, if you ever saw that anime.
No, I need to check it out, though.
Jinro had this crazy-ass reveal you kind of weren't expecting. And I actually guess the Jinro based on their, because they had basically like the Nazi-style infantry helmet, but they would haul around these MG-42 freaking heavy machine guns, and it's just the ending last 5 minutes is them just this dude clearing a fucking sewer of people with that thing, and it's just demented.
Sounds like my kind of movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was actually going to ask about Darth Vader if you think he's going to be in there. I mean, you heard his song playing throughout the trailer very slowly, but I'm hoping he's gonna actually be in it.
His song.
What's that?
He has his own song.
Yeah, the march. That's his song.
I thought it was the Empire song.
I mean, keep going.
No, go ahead.
But here's the thing: like, what I really hope they do is like what made Darth Vader so interesting in episode 4 and 5 was that you didn't see Vader that often, and he was pretty much kind of a badass because he was a really interesting character that whenever he did stuff, he did it right and executed it like perfectly. So it was a kind of nice thing where I'm really hoping if they do show him in the Rogue One movie, they do it very sparingly, and it just builds his character up throughout the film, which is kind of what would be the best way to go about it. And that way, without revealing too much of Vader, it lets these new characters stand on their own. So, in essence, what I kind of liked about Episode 7 was that they didn't introduce Han Solo or like Leia, or even Luke for that matter, till like the middle of the film. So that way, it gave you a chance for these characters to stand on their own and kind of appeal to you in that way. So that's like one of the things they did right about it.
Yeah, I actually agree with that.
Yeah, so in Rogue One, I'm really hoping they don't expose too much of Vader too quickly. Otherwise, the power and interest of the other characters, I think, is going to be usurped by just Vader's presence.
Why don't they do like? And this is where they can kind of really do what your theory was for Episode 7. Be like, oh, Vader, we're going to train you by this new master we have of Darth Jar Jar.
God, I would love that. It'd be amazing.
Oh yeah. Please do that. JJ. Please.
JJ, if you're watching this random podcast, come on, make this happen.
You know you love the Console Explosion. Do this for us. Do it for the people.
But though, when you guys were watching that trailer, though, did you watch how fast the dish was coming into the Death Star?
I noticed it, but I didn't find anything strange about it per se.
Well, here's the thing: if you think about how big that dish is and how big the Death Star is, that dish is moving at 1,000+ miles per hour.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm saying visually it looked cool, but as far as like how it should really move, no.
Maybe it wasn't moving and the Death Star was moving.
Yeah.
Well, it was just really funny though, because there's a YouTuber named Scott Manley who he's a physicist, and he did the math and clocked it in at over 1,000 miles per hour.
But I just threw a wrench in that theory.
What was your wrench in that theory?
What if the Death Star was moving and not the dish?
Either way, if either of those items, if they're actually at the size they're said to be, are moving at that speed in relation to each other, they're still moving at 1,000+ miles per hour. That's one hell of a collision.
But it's in the future. Things are different.
It's not in the future. It's in the past.
Yeah, it is right.
Our future.
It's not our future. No. It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
A long time ago.
Either way, they have spaceships and we don't, so we can't base our physics and world knowledge to...
You can't just visually based off how those two pieces were moving.
No.
You can make physics up.
Nope. Explain a lightsaber then.
I could.
It's made up. I'll explain it right there.
Well,
but I'm just saying, visually it looked good, but in reality it was kind of funny, though. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, I think the video might have been sped up. Who knows? I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Look, I wasn't like bashing it. I just thought it was funny. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Jared, get off this case.
No. This is it. It's on. Gloves are on.
No, how dare you question Rogue One? How dare you?
A Star Trek fan does not speak ill of Star Wars in any form.
Fucking Star Trek piece of shit! You get out of here! You get the fuck out!
Do either of you guys know much about Mon Mothra?
Mothra, yeah. What about her?
Cause not from Godzilla, but Mon. You know what I'm talking about, right? From Star
Yeah, Mothra, the big moth from Godzilla.
Ian, do you know anything about it?
Mon Manza, the weird little goggle-wearing chick?
No, not Maz. She's a girl that's in the trailer. She's from Star Wars. I don't know.
Rogue One, or...
She's in Rogue One, but she's also in some of the older Star Wars and video games as well.
Oh, the redhead chick that wears the 70s gown, yeah.
Yeah, her.
Yeah.
I don't know much about her. I can't recall anything from her, but I've seen her. She was also in, I think, Star Wars Jedi Academy 2.
She's in Godzilla.
That character, from what I remember, there's a deleted scene from Episode 3 about her, where she's like a senator who was actually trying to rally other senators against Palpatine, and that ultimately failed. And then she went to lead the rebellion, so the actress they have playing her in Rogue One and Episode 3 actually looks spot on to how the actress that I think we're first introduced to her in Return of the Jedi initially, but yeah.
I think it's the same actress all 3 times.
Not from Returns, no. But
not from Returns?
Way too old now.
Ooh, okay. She does look just like her.
The actress they picked, though, looks a hell of a lot like her for Rogue One and Episode.
Yeah, they did a good job with that.
Yeah.
And by the way, Ian, the bearded gamer who is in our chat for the YouTube gaming, agrees with me. Different galaxy, different physics.
Oh,
so suck it.
Can you link me to the link me the chat. Link me the chat.
Suck it.
I'm gonna fucking go there
and also Mon Mothra showed up in Godzilla film with those 2 Chinese little girls that sing the little Mothra song, and then Mothra comes in like the worm form.
Not Mothra, Mothma, sir. You're a failure as a nerd. You've disappointed me. But it's okay. It's okay. I forgive you. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. I didn't really say either way. It looks really good. There's not going to be a lot of Jedis, but there are going to be some Sith. So it's going to be really interesting seeing a lot of Sith fighting. And I wonder what perspective the story is going to be told from, because we don't really know if the person, like, we know it's Rogue One, but is she a double agent for the Imperial, for the Emperor, or for the rebels?
Wait, are we talking about the main character from Rogue One?
Yeah.
Why would she be a double agent
based on what?
For the Empire? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But why would she be a double agent for the Empire?
You see what she's wearing at the very end, right? And what the saying is at the very end?
Didn't she wear that to infiltrate them, and that's why everything was blowing up around her?
Yeah, but the saying, I can't remember who was saying it, but they were basically foreshadowing the fact that she might turn to the dark side. Is essentially how that went. If you listen to like what's being said either before or during that time where you see her in all black garb, which is the pilot trooper or whatever they call them, it kind of foreshadows that she might.
See, this is a perfect example of what a trailer does right, and the way you need to do a trailer. See, as opposed to what a lot of other films do, where they blow the entire story in 3 minutes, this one did a wonderful job of silhouetting the story to you, where it took key sequences out of any particular order and presented them to you in an interesting way. And that's kind of where a lot of trailers suffer and don't go. And this one did a fantastic job. In the essence, that scene, as powerful as it is a testament to that director and how good he is at making visual statements about things. And it'll be a really attractive film. Like, I can guarantee this movie's going to be just fucking gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
And as to what she's going to be doing, I bet that's going to be infiltration kind of thing, where, like, someone sacrificed himself so that she can get away or something like that, we might have thought. And she's going to be the one who ultimately delivers the data to R2 or to Leia and then dies some other way. So I think that's probably something that's going to happen there. But I think this movie's going to be fantastic, at least from a cinematography standpoint.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like from the trailer was the fast-walking AT-ATs.
I think a lot of that...
The stop motion.
Bring back the practical effects on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
What?
I don't know.
Fast-walking AT-ATs, they're like, look, go.
Yeah. I think we'll see. A lot of this is like, what, the movie's not coming out till when? December.
Fall of 2016, November, I think.
Okay, so they still have a while. So I imagine a lot of this is probably pre-rendered stuff. So that might have just been them rushing that sequence to get it out. But odds are that sequence is probably going to be slower based on like how that director did like Monsters and Godzilla. I can guarantee those AT-ATs are going to be very kind of lumbering menaces. I bet that's going to be really good.
Well, from what I know, when it comes to people who make the movie trailers, I've actually got to talk to two people who do them.
Mm-hmm.
What they're given is just, here's a bunch of the film.
Mm-hmm.
It's in whatever order, and this is all you have to work with.
Oh yeah,
make a trailer.
Well, what I mean is that even though they have that footage of the AT-ATs, that's not necessarily the finalized footage of it.
No, I meant for more of the fact where they give away the whole story.
Oh yeah.
Right, because they don't know, they don't see the movie, they don't know what the director's idea, so they're just like, okay, well, we'll throw this in there, and throw this in there, add it to some music, and Luke, I'm your father. Whoops. Screwed up that way. So that's what I know when they're making the trailers, nonetheless.
Oh yeah, I can guarantee, because based on the stuff that was released for when this director did Godzilla, they kept that story really ambiguous until before the film came out, as far as a lot of the shot sequences and stuff like that. So you couldn't really piece together the film before. And I think it's probably that same thing. So I think he was, if he had any choice in it, I think he was very selective in the footage he let them use. Mm-hmm. As opposed to like what Warner Brothers did with Batman v Superman, which was the entire fucking movie.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. I hate when movies do that, which is why I hope they don't do another big trailer for this. But I gotta say, I agree with Words 789. I think you guys said it too. But I do hope Darth Vader does come out and start laying down the law.
Well, that's got to be towards the end of the film. They're gonna build him up, just keep building him up, and just mention him, and then it's gonna be probably like in Empire when the doors slid open and he's just standing there.
Choking somebody
probably he's going to light up his lightsaber, and then the entire room's just going to start screaming, and you're going to see them dying in the reflection of his helmet or something like that, something just horrific like that.
Just the aftermath would be kind of cool to see.
Yeah,
just hearing all these tales, holy shit, he just took down a whole damn army by himself. What the fuck's wrong with this guy?
Oh, yeah,
he's going to be kind of like a myth sort of thing, like Jedis. They weren't widely believed as real.
Well, if I remember correctly, it's going to be probably between episode 3 and 4, you're going to have this whole thing where people remember the Jedi, but they're going to have this whole narrative about how they portrayed the Emperor and tried to take power for themselves. So it's going to be this kind of fun, dark twist. Because I mean, like, if you remember Episode 4, you had Luke was sitting there talking about wanting to go to the Imperial Academy, like the Flight Academy, learn how to fly TIE fighters and stuff like that. Because not every those stormtroopers weren't necessarily clones or trained from birth at that point. So you have definitely a more intriguing story, and it wasn't like Luke had anything negative to say about the Empire until they murdered his foster parents. But so I think it'll be intriguing how they spin the narrative in this film, because it's going to be, because some of the shots I really liked from Rogue One were the ones where you saw the stormtroopers rolling through the town with like a battle damaged kind of armored vehicle, and then the troops walking alongside it like an occupation force. So they're going to play it up as an occupation of some sort, so they're going to have kind of this whole like terrorist vibe going on with the Resistance. And I think they can paint it in a really creative way if they do it right.
I concur.
They just need to put more Ewoks in it, and I'm sold.
Oh yeah, more Ewoks, more shit in the foreground, walking across the lens,
Lens flares.
More lens flares.
And more
Lens
things
flares.
making fart noises. More fart noises. Gotta have that.
They need to Lucas up the film a little bit more.
Yeah,
And
it's so dense. Ah, yes.
And we need a pointless musical number with bad CGI characters and ear-grating music.
Yes. I
More
agree.
Rick Moranis.
God, there wasn't enough for Rick Moranis in those. Wasn't enough.
Hey, I would pay, full price to see Rick Moranis in the dark helmet costume. I would pay.
So, keep going.
That's it. I would just say I would pay top money for that.
Gotcha.
The Schwartz
So,
versus the Force.
Yeah, so to answer Word 789's question, who would win in a war between Jawas and Ewoks? Let's think about it this way. Ewoks, when we first meet them, weren't just doing anything nice to people. They were going to eat the main characters of the story. Literally had captured them and were going to eat them. And not only did the Ewoks have the ability to build advanced equipment in earshot of an Imperial base overnight, they were murdering stormtroopers and heavy equipment left and right with relatively no technology. So it's probably a good thing they're trapped on Endor and don't have space flight, because I would say Ewoks would be the scourge of the galaxy if they ever escaped on their own planet.
Speaking of Ewoks,
Good
did
question.
you know that Build-A-Bear, now you can buy a 3-foot-tall, life-sized Ewok from Build-A-Bear?
I did not know that.
Could you hollow it out and fit your children in there, Jared, and they can walk around?
I'm buying it,
Oh,
and I'm actually
man.
going to do that.
You better.
And I will film it. I will have her just, sit somewhere and then just, jump up and scare people.
That's intense. You gotta dress up as Chewbacca if you do that or something.
It's going to be
Please.
great.
Halloween.
But seriously though, Ewoks they're deadly killers, man. They're the fiercest fighting force in the universe.
Yeah, and it also depends on where you are. If you're in the jungle, those Jawas are definitely fucked. But maybe in a desert, in their homeland or home terrain, they might have some good pot shots from far away. I don't know.
Maybe even then, if you looked at the stormtroopers, the least accurate people in the universe, somehow managed to take out a thing of them. So gotta think about that.
It's true.
A thing of what?
Oh, the fact that more stormtroopers can't hit the broadside of a barn, and they're driving around in basically a barn on treads, and somehow the stormtroopers still manage to hit them with accuracy, considering they're like, I've seen those blasted shots anyway. Far too accurate for Raiders. Those are stormtroopers.
Obi-Wan.
Touché.
So
Well, that thing was bigger than a barn door, so
Yeah.
it does give them a better chance to hit it.
20% chance. So they got, through sheer volume of fire, a chance of hitting it.
Look, when you have 30,000, or when you send 1,000 troopers, 100 of them are going to hit it. All right, give them benefit of the doubt. 10% will hit their target.
Oh man.
What about
was
the
that?
theory of that little Waz or whatever it is from Episode 7 is actually a Jawa without the hood?
yeah, I've seen that theory where the Jawas that got slaughtered, she was actually one of them that survived. I think there was 5 total, and only 4 of them were shown on screen dead. So they were lining up where the Jawas were versus Luke Skywalker, and how she's actually been protecting him or watching him over the span of the first 3 movies.
Yeah, because there's a
the chick
statue
with
of
the
her.
goggles?
Yeah, because there's actually a statue of her in episode 1 in his room.
Hmm.
In Anakin's room, when he's talking with Quanjai or whatever the fuck his name is.
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon Jinn, there is a statue of her right there in his room.
Hmm.
Boom. Mind blowing.
I would love to see an Obi-Wan standalone film.
Yes.
They're talking about that, actually.
Yeah, they're in the works of that. Ewan McGregor did a fucking great job as Obi-Wan. He's literally, in my opinion, episode 1, 2, and 3 basically are just about him, because that was the only redeeming part of that trilogy.
That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
No, wait, man. Hayden Christensen, I loved his whiny voice.
Sand is rough and it gets everywhere. Oh my god, his acting was so good.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Point of view, the Jedi are evil. Oh god.
You underestimate my power, Jesus Christ.
It's over, Anakin. I am the high ground.
No, I will never give up. I will never surrender.
I'm quoting Galaxy Quest. Nice. Yeah, I mean,
I think we could talk.
Rogue One is going to be Hayden Christensen coming back as Vader.
No.
Just to give everyone the big fuck you.
apparently they asked him actually about that, and I guess he said no.
No.
Like, I got other acting to do. Sure you do, Hayden. Sure you
Which
do.
is none.
Yeah, which is.
Yeah.
What has he done? He's fallen off the face of the earth like the guy from Rollerball.
Oh yeah. I think he did Jumper, another movie where he was like in a coma while getting surgery done to him. Then another movie where it's like a bank heist film, and then some other shit that I can't really recall.
I don't want to get too far into this, but Jumper was really disappointing. I just wanted to say that.
Jumper was just, I don't know what the fuck they were doing with that one.
Yeah.
Hayden
Like, they were like-
Christensen and Chris Klein should join together and make a movie together called The Most Forgettable Film of 2016.
I would watch that and then immediately forget about it. I think it would be fun. Worth $10.
I would forget to remember to watch that movie.
Shit, I forgot that movie came out.
Oh, and this middle finger is for the video game hunter who's in our YouTube chat who says Star Wars Episode 7 sucks. So,
Yeah, I had fun watching it. There were just things I complain about just because I'm incapable of happiness, apparently.
Yeah.
But,
He does
it's
have a
just
good
me.
point, though. Well, I wouldn't say point per se, but he does bring us to our next topic, which was kind of the Marvel world. And we'll start with Spider-Man because we can skip over to a few other things as well. But quick news, they're working on, or they have the title as of right now for the new Spider-Man movie, which is Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man Prom.
Jared doesn't like the name of it. He's not very...
Too American.
God, racist.
Well,
Nationalist.
you can. I'm sure you have a home when you have a homecoming once in a while.
Yeah, but that's
Not
at
just a-
night with the stock watching porn.
Oh.
What?
Canadians, weird.
What?
Weird old Canadians.
In Canada, after 8 o'clock, that's porn watching time.
That's porn
National
watching
pastime
time.
in Canada. Right after hockey. Porn
And
time.
10 o'clock, you add the syrup.
And 10 o'clock, that's syrup for the friction burns. It's a porn.
Oh, God. So, this might be a good thing, though. You guys are ridiculous.
That's not a theory. That's a racist
It's a
theory.
Canadian racist theory.
Hating on You're a self-hating Canadian.
Well, I'm
The
self
worst kind of Canadian. But no. If it is connected to the comic book at all, we might see symbiote Spider-Man. We might see black suit Spider-Man, hopefully. See, even the dog is excited about
Yeah,
this.
even Barca has thoughts about that, yeah.
Pretty sure she was groaning.
No.
She was saying something.
We saw Black Suit Spider-Man, and it was fucking Tobey Maguire.
You saw, what the hell's his name? I can't think of it right now. Not Joss Whedon, but,
Josh Whedon.
not him, but who was the other guy that did Spider-Man?
James Gunn.
No, the director.
Honestly, I have no idea who did Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Like, I have no idea what the director's name was on that.
No, the emo Spider-Man.
Oh, Sam Raimi.
Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. Evil Dead.
I don't know, Sam Raimi did a fantastic job with Spider-Man 1 and 2. Just Spider-Man 3 just got... Sony fucking lost their mind. Like, I don't know what happened with that production company, but they had, like, when those emails leaked especially, like, they fucking completely lost their mind about what they need to do for these films, and it's just, God, I don't know why they chose to do the things they did, because like they felt it needed to be more action-packed, even though like Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock was fucking awesome. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, I wonder, do you think this is going to tie into the Avengers movie at all?
Oh, the new Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Most likely. The only thing I'm wondering about is I'm not sure if they ever made the agreement public about how Marvel and Sony are going to share the IP for it. So I don't necessarily know. That's what I'm wondering, because I mean, like, if Sony Studios makes a new Spider-Man film under the watchful eyes of Marvel Studios, potentially they think there's a lot of like potential there for what they could do. I honestly, like, based on how young the Spider-Man actor is, I'm not sure it's going to appeal to me as much as like the other ones have. But I mean, it could be a lot of potential, considering Marvel has a really good invested interest in making these films decent and not letting them be shit. And Sony just lost their fucking minds when they were trying to make the other Spider-Man films. But then again, trying to hold a Spider-Man film together with just Spider-Man and not having anything else to kind of amp up the story a little bit kind of makes it a little more difficult. Because Spider-Man always had those whole things where he'd run into Fantastic Four and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is odd why they never did like a Fantastic Four Spider-Man thing, considering Sony controlled, or was it? No, never mind. Fox had the
Fox
had
had Fantastic Four.
Yeah. But there's a lot of potential there, especially like if they do leave Spider-Man in the Marvel universe, they can definitely have a whole film that could expose his coming of age during the first Avengers film where New York just gets toasted. So I mean, there's a lot of potential for that story to develop with a lot of like really kind of fun action and or drama associated with the horrific events of Avengers 1.
I actually like that idea. That is actually a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, to answer more Word 789, apparently if they're going to do a Spider-Man movie like the Homecoming one, they're going to do like considerably less of an origin story for Spider-Man, considering it would be the third origin story for him in, what, 10 years?
If there's another origin story, I'm going to punch a director or producer in the balls. We have enough of those damn things. Sorry.
You're like so tired of hearing the same story over again.
Yeah, we know what happens. Uncle Ben dies. He becomes Spider-Man. And shit happens. We don't need to see it a third fucking time. Sorry.
What he said.
But each one was different. Each one had its own twist to it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the origin of Superman and how his dad died, or stepdad. That's one of Cinematic's greatest scenes, and Historic Nerd will back me up on that.
Well, I agree with Chris and Moviegoer on this one, though. Like, there's so much to Spider-Man that we haven't gotten to see. I mean, there are a lot of different superhero movies because they focus on the origin. And I would like to see a little bit more depth. Maybe we know who Spider-Man is now. There's still a lot of people who don't, I guess. But like, just make a really good movie somehow, and don't have to put all the origin in it every time. We've already had two. Let's see a better version of Symbiote Spider-Man. Let's see him doing a crossover with Daredevil or something like that. I know that's not going to happen, but that's just an example. I want to see more crossovers like the Avenger thing, not Avengers, Captain America, and less worrying about where the hell he's from and how he got his powers.
See, but the thing is both origin stories are both different origins for different Spider-Man in a different dimension.
Okay,
right?
well,
the same shit.
So,
if they're going to do a different Spider-Man, they should at least do like a different Spider-Man altogether. They have 3 other characters other than Peter Parker they could choose from. So I mean,
Miles Morales, you know,
nobody likes Miles Morales.
Or no, Or
Nobody likes that girl Spider-Man either.
Spider-Gwen,
Yeah.
Spider-Pig, 2099,
Spider-Pig.
Scarlet Spider, Spider Noir, Spider-Man Noir.
Now, if they made a Spider Noir movie, I'd watch that. I'd pay to watch that. Like if they did like the whole Noir X-Men and Noir Marvel, like they decided to do that, I'd pay to watch that.
I'd like to see the person who did, Sin City do.
Oh
Spider-Man
yes,
Noir.
agreed. Robert Rodriguez, I would.
It's a dream project, but I would like to see that.
Yeah.
See, but what I was getting at is like every origin story is different, and it's a different origin story. Like with the symbiote suit, right? There's one origin where it came from space, one origin where it was actually the cure for cancer, one origin story where it was a mutant side effect. So, there's a different origin story for all those, and that's why we have a different origin story for, so I was going to say Superman, but Spider-Man, right? Because you have the Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, regular Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, so on, so on, so on. Each are different.
60 Spider-Man.
Man, 70s Spider-Man. That was good. That movie where Spider-Man was fighting a cult leader who was mind controlling people to do his bidding. That shit was great.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic right now.
No, I can't even hold it together when I talk about that one because like one of the biggest action sequences in that whole movie was like, oh no, this guy crashed into a wall and he's stuck. Can someone help him? And Peter Parker runs up and he's like, he breaks the guy's seat back and they're like, oh, he's out of there now. He's like, yeah, I just broke. It was like such a great action sequence, Spider-Man 1970.
No, wait, Italian Spider-Man.
Oh, dear.
Italian Spider-Man. Spider Mario. Yeah, I agree with Chris. I'd like to see 2099, but they probably would whitewash him a little bit.
Yeah.
Miguel.
I remember they talked about picking, like, I guess there was some weird talk going on about Donald Glover being the new Spider-Man, considering he has a similar build and stuff like that. And I don't know, Donald Glover's a fantastic comedian, so I would have actually really enjoyed seeing that movie if they ever got around to doing that. But
do you remember how that whole thing got started?
I think it was a Twitter rumor, I thought.
Yeah, like he wasn't even the one that started it, but it was about the time when they were casting for the Sony, the first reboot of Spider-Man. I think it was like back in 2006 or 2007 maybe, and there's like this whole petition going around to get him to be the new Spider-Man, and he actually talked about it in a stand-up comedy where he was like, I didn't even know this was going on, but I mean, sure, I'll play Spider-Man, whatever, cool, that's fine. It was pretty interesting, but I wouldn't mind him as Spider-Man. I'd prefer him to be like maybe Miles Morales because it would look more accurate, but it wouldn't bother me. I mean, we've seen a Black Johnny Storm, even though the movie
sucked.
Yeah, but it's not that serious in today's day and age. Like, as long as the actor does a good job, I don't know.
But is it? I mean, look at all the bullshit that happened with Star Wars Episode 7. All the bullshit that happened with the Fantastic Four. And, I'd love to say, hey, we're past all that, but you get all that bullshit and all that garbage, and it's just like, I want to eat a chip, and this chip represents all the hate in the world.
But here's the thing about that, though, in the sense that
it's salty.
It's a very absolutely. They're salty racist tears, and it's one of those things where it's kind of like they're a very small and vocal minority. That's the only thing they have going for them is they're very loud and just particularly stupid. Because it's almost one of those things where it doesn't really matter. I mean, the only issue is there's definitely a shortage of really solid African American or minority characters. I think that's one of the things that comics should address. The sense that they just need to create new characters that don't have these different ethnic backgrounds and maybe just create some uniquely good ones. But there just hasn't been a collective will to do that. Because, I mean, when was the last time someone bought a brand new comic, like a brand new run of an issue that hadn't been running for the last 30 years?
I bought a new thing of Gantz, but that's an anime.
Yeah,
there's a new.
Yeah, I mean, like for every once in a while, I'll go and like. For a while, I was really into X-Men: The New Class. That comic book run, because it had the character X-23 in it, which is a female clone of Wolverine, and it's a fucking really solid storyline. And I was really into that for a while. And they were introducing, like, there was a new, like, Arab character named Sandstorm who was, like, insanely powerful, and it was just really good stuff like that they were introducing characters like that and giving them actual, like, decent backgrounds and creative ideas around them.
So, of course, the Arab character had to be something to do with sand.
Of course. Of course. I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean,
You gotta start somewhere.
I mean, come on. Anyways, Moviegoer wanted to say something, or did he leave?
I'm
What would you
still
like to
here,
talk
but I want to add something, to this whole Spider-Man discussion. It seems that Sony, or they focus on adding too many villains, and it just becomes disoriented and lacks a focus. Like, we don't need 3 or 4 villains in one movie, to help pad things out. You can do a good superhero movie with 2 villains, and as long as they're fleshed out and they have like a decent backstory, it can be done well.
But you have to look at it as a producer's point of view. I mean, when someone gives you a script for a new Spider-Man movie, they say, okay, so here's the deal. It's Spider-Man, and his main villain is going to be the Sandman.
Right.
Right? And you're like, well, the Sandman doesn't play a huge story, a huge factor into it. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, then we're going to add in the 60-year-old Vulture. But not his young one yet. We'll get that into the next movie. And it's like, okay, so the 2 bad guys for this movie are going to be the Vulture and Sandman.
Right.
Like, those are just 2 characters that you're just like, ugh, garbage. Why? Because they blew their load with the first 2. Right? And the fans, as fans, we have already made our voices heard that that's not what we want to see. Right? So the fans are pushing, and really, we got to look at the fact that we as the fans probably ruined the 3rd Spider-Man movie. In the sense that we wanted Venom. We demanded we wanted the black suit. We demanded that we didn't want to see the Vulture. We didn't want to see fucking Sandman. We wanted Venom. And that's what we bitched and complained about. And we got it, reluctantly, because the studio said, oh, look at the fans. Look what they want. So let's put that in there. And look what happened.
Yeah.
I think we, as fans, ruined Spider-Man 3.
And, adding to your, and I do agree with some of your points, but they did it a second time with the Amazing Spider-Man 2. They had Electro, they had Rhino, and they had Green Goblin.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. I mean, you, like Rhino, you can't hold a whole movie with Rhino. I mean, it really doesn't happen. Electro, maybe.
Electro could have had potential. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my gripe with Spider-Man 3. There's a few, but one of the biggest ones is with the villains, and they spent too much time cultivating Sandman rather than spending attention to Eddie Brock. And throughout the whole entire movie, you're really learning the origins of Sandman and learning the origins of Venom and the symbiote suit. And you have these 3 stories going along with Peter Parker. And I don't think Sandman, was a important enough character to really show his daughter and show the good side of him. He was always seen as like a henchman. They tried really hard to do this, there's 2 sides to a story thing, which I like and appreciate that effort, but he was kind of a side villain that, helped build up some of the bigger villains. And Eddie Brock, I felt, was kind of a weak character. He wasn't the Eddie Brock we knew from the old comics. He was kind of this, almost like a angry, like nerdy Peter Parker. He didn't have the stocky build from working out from when he got bullied, and we had expectations. So in a way, I kind of agree with you, but they spent way too much time cultivating the Sandman instead of really hammering out Eddie Brock and Venom, and then also New Goblin in there too, like throwing that into the mix.
Well, I mean,
that's what I was saying with the whole. They made the script, they had it done. Here's the characters we want, but then the studio comes in saying, "Hey, look, the fans want this. The fans are asking for this." And yes, in the chat, Bearded Gamer, you are the reason why Spider-Man was ruined. All right, because we wanted Venom, and that is why we ruined it.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like what you were saying. Sorry, out of the room for a second. But I mean, like, the whole subplot of Venom was added after the fact, and those shots were added after the movie was pretty much done. So wasn't there a whole lot more to Sandman and, like, the development and the contrast between Spider-Man and Venom in that, or Spider-Man and Sandman?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, all the stuff involving Venom was very rushed and forced into that.
Yeah.
All those studio reshoots.
Yeah, and it's because we as fans, when we heard, oh, it's going to be about Sandman, we as fans thought, no, we don't want that. We want Venom. We want the symbiote. We want this. And that's why I say we ruined Spider-Man 3 as fans. Because for once the fucking Sony Pictures listened to us, said, oh, look what the fans want, let's do it, and shoehorn it in. And you had a director who did not want to do that, said, no, I don't want to do that. And he said, fuck, you want it? I'll do it. And this is what happened.
Yeah, because I thought Sam Raimi did a really solid job making the Spider-Man films, and Spider-Man 3 is just like, if they hadn't done that and they had just done like Sandman and then done a huge build-up to Venom in the fourth movie, would have been fantastic, I think. Even if they had casted Tobey Maguire, I think they could have done a good job on that.
Yeah. I think also they were in a bad time frame as well, because like the whole emo thing was really big during that time. And I think maybe if they had waited a few years longer or did it earlier, maybe they wouldn't have tried to be so emo-ish.
Would have missed out on a gigantic cultural mistake.
Yeah, I guess you could put it that way. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I know I am excited to see what they're going to do with it. Hopefully there is another shot at the Black Suit Spider-Man. Hopefully it does tie into the Captain America movie. But I want to get to my last topic because we got about 20 minutes to talk about that, and I'm actually really excited about this. I want to do some more research and do some more learning, but one of my favorite actors right now, Benedict Cumberbatch, is playing Doctor Strange, and if you guys have not seen the trailer yet, you need to go watch it because it has dropped as of, what, like yesterday or today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday? Yeah. So I'm excited for it. I want to know if you guys saw it and what you thought, as well as you guys in the comments. Let me know what you thought of it as well.
I'll admit I don't know nearly enough about Doctor Strange. I know like a bit of his origin and some of that, and like how he was a really successful doctor who was kind of an asshole who liked helping people, and like the ego associated with that. I think that was from the comics. And then like gets in a car accident, and he was a surgeon, so that was kind of his big thing. Was his hands were really important to him. And then his hands get fucking wrecked, and he can't do surgery anymore, so then he like goes to Nepal trying to find Eastern medicine and stuff to help him out with that. So I wish I knew more about him, but apparently he's just insanely fucking powerful in the whole, like, in the Marvel Universe, in the sense that, like, I think he's actually held off Thanos before by himself or something along those lines. He's that powerful of a character, and I don't know enough about him. I don't know why, he just never captivated me enough. Mm-hmm. But then I've just never been into, like, honestly, I've never liked magic. I've always felt technology was a much more interesting and powerful thing.
Right. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I do love the magic. I like the martial arts the most, but superpowers is always cool to me. But well, before I get to my next point though, moviegoer or Jared, you guys have anything to add?
I don't know. I just see kind of the beginning. Like Doctor Strange always reminded me of Iron Man. They're kind of the same egotistical, brilliant people, and then something bad happens to them, and then they got to change the world, right? And that's just like, I've seen this before. You know, this is the same Marvel drab when it comes to a lot of their characters. Is some successful rich person, something happens to them, oh, now I gotta, fix it, right?
It's an interesting way of putting it.
I think there's a lot of potential in this one for like the visual stuff they're going to be doing as far as making it like a really solid, fun visual journey. Because I mean, Ant-Man had that kind of going for it in the sense that it was a really fun kind of visual experimentation on what they could get away with in filmmaking. And so I think if they just go into this film with the expectations of having fun with it and just making an entertaining film, I think there's a lot of just potential there just for something you can go and watch and just have fun while watching it.
Yeah. Chris makes a good point that I was going to bring up before, but watch the animated movie of Doctor Strange. That's one of the first things I saw from Doctor Strange, and I really enjoyed that. The first time I actually saw him, I think me and Chris both got introduced to him in this was Marvel vs. Capcom 3, or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. He was actually a playable character in that game, and was pretty damn cool, but hard to use. And him and Rocket
Just
Raccoon
like
are
magic.
Just like magic. Yeah.
Just like magic.
Yeah. But I think he's a very interesting character. I'm very curious to see how they do it. Benedict Cumberbatch is I think, a damn good actor.
Was he talking with an American accent through
He
that
was.
trailer? Okay.
He was.
Okay, that was weirding me out. Like, I'm like, that's not his normal, like, deep-ass voice, so it was weird.
I was really surprised that they chose to do an American accent. I mean, he's an American person, but his accent's so great that I would have been okay with that. But yeah, they gave him an American accent. I think he sounds really really white. I guess is the best way I can put it. Really American
white.
Wow. Really American. He sounds really American.
White. Love it.
But yeah, that's really interesting. That's something that caught my ears right away, and yeah, I'm curious about it. And it got me to thinking. They talked about parallel realities or multiple realities, and I love that theory. I guess I'm just a weird guy, but I wanted to know what you guys just, I guess, with all the, I don't know how much you guys know about Marvel. Jared, you seem to not like Marvel movies. I'm not sure. But
what are you talking about?
You're just hating on all the drab Marvel movies. What are you talking about?
I know. I said they're the same origin stories. They're the same characters. When you start breaking down who the characters are, you end up finding a lot of them are fairly similar.
You could say the archetypes are, yeah, but their stories, I guess the origin, yes, but then over time they definitely become different people.
Yeah, afterwards, but that's like saying, you color the picture with blue paint, it becomes a different picture. Well, of course it does.
Yes.
Let's see here. I think the nice thing about Marvel is like you're at least whenever like they release a film, you're guaranteed to at least have a fun time while you're watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like none of their films are particularly bad. The other thing I would say is that Avengers 2 was rushed in comparison to the other ones, but with Doctor Strange, I guess I don't know how to feel about it because I don't know enough about his character and I don't have any emotional attachment to him. But then again, it was the same thing with Ant-Man for me, where I really am like, I know of Ant-Man, and I knew the weird shit that was associated with that from like the animated Avengers films they released that had Ant-Man in it, and the Wasp. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't know enough about this character, nor do I have an emotional attachment to it.
Right.
But I went to the Ant-Man film, and I was pleasantly surprised with how well that film was put together, and it was just a fun film with actual memorable sequences that I thought were really creative, like cinematography-wise. So I think there's a lot of potential there. And with this one being, I think the big thing to go off of in this one is that it's the first Marvel film to introduce magic, which I think was a gigantic letdown. Like, because in Iron Man 3, the Mandarin, what made him so dangerous to Iron Man was the sense that the Mandarin used magic. He didn't use technology, and that's what made him scary to Tony Stark. Was that. And so this one, it's kind of like I almost feel like there was a missed opportunity in Iron Man 3 to introduce magic, but they were so weary of going down that route at that point in time that they just didn't do it. And I think this one, has potential for them to open up a lot of magic characters Marvel has and kind of expand that universe in some regards. But I wish I knew more about the character, and I can only say we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, I hope.
Didn't they have magic in Avengers 2 with the Scarlet Witch?
Yeah, I guess she's kind of a slight introduction, but then again, the Scarlet Witch is a fucking mutant, though.
She's a mutant, though. Yeah, her powers are explained as a mutant.
But she's not a mutant because Marvel doesn't have the rights to fucking mutants right now. Fucking facts.
Yeah.
Okay, I can say this. I am insanely happy. Sorry, Jared.
No, go ahead.
That they are pushing off the Inhumans movie for a while. Because that Inhumans plotline from Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the dumbest fucking thing in the world. And that show just needs to die. It's garbage. Okay, said my piece.
As for anybody who doesn't know who Doctor Who is, and you do want to know a little bit of a better understanding of him, in the YouTube chat, there's a link. Watch it on your own discretion. Please don't watch it while you're watching.
Doctor Strange or Doctor Who?
That's what I meant, Doctor Strange, whatever.
Okay,
Gotcha.
you get people
Too many
excited.
doctors. Too many doctors. Doctor Who, Doctor House, Doctor fucking Cunningham. Anyways, there's a link. Gives you the origin stories, gives you the understanding of who the character is a little bit more. It's actually very well done. So it's from Watch Mojo. It's the only thing Watch Mojo does a good job on is these origins, superhero origins. So I suggest checking it out for sure.
And I'll try to post this in the description so that anyone watching it on YouTube after the fact can check it out.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Jared. I'll actually probably watch this as well. I'd like to see a damn Static Shock movie. Just throwing that out there.
That's DC though.
I know.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope. Oh yeah. Also, more news. Ben Affleck was just given the green light to do a Batman film where he's directing and writing it.
Oh, great.
Yes.
It's going to be fucking garbage.
Yo, Commissioner Gordon, the Joker's over there behind the car.
It took the car from the yard.
I'd watch it.
He's fucking wicked pissed about it. but I don't know, like Argo, The Town, those are pretty solid films. So I mean, I'm not ruling Ben Affleck out because honestly, they didn't give him enough screen time to fuck up Batman and Batman vs Superman. So I'm like, he could do something fun. And the fight sequence where he cleared that room in Batman vs Superman was pretty fucking solid.
Hey, I haven't watched that movie, so shh.
God damn, what are you doing with your life?
Decent. I'll give that to you. Like, that was a decent part. Honestly, there were so many things they could have done with that film that I'm like, why? It was like one of those things you're like, why the fuck? Literally, the best way I can describe Batman vs Superman, the relations of why that film was made the way it was you have two people. You have Marvel, who is this dude who's just fucking hauling ass, sprinting really well, and going around a bend. And then you have DC behind him, who decides to cut through the woods to catch up, and just trips on every fucking branch on the way trying to catch up to him. And that's the only way I can describe that. That movie was just so goddamn rushed because they had to get their expanded universe started, and they had no idea how to do it, so they threw every goddamn idea they could into that, and that's the only way I can describe it.
I just think there's a lot of missed opportunities, with DC in general and with Marvel. I think they're doing really well with their works. Mm-hmm. It's exciting just to see what's going to happen, and the fact that they've got themselves covered for the future, right? Like the young boy in Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3, yeah.
The young boy in that, he is in line and already signed to be the next Tony Stark when Robert Downey, his character, becomes a quote-unquote president. The boy becomes the new Iron Man. So, yeah, already signed to do that. They picked him. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting in that sense. Be interesting if that boy can stay sober before that. So,
you mean not go the route of Robert Downey Jr.?
Well, just the fact that, hey, here's your roles, here's what we have set up for you, don't fuck it up, right?
No pressure.
He's also the kid from Jurassic World, the younger one, just for if anyone hasn't seen Iron Man.
I haven't seen Jurassic World.
So, yeah.
See, the thing I was wondering about was, if, for me, it used to be when Marvel movies came out, I had to go see them because I thought they were pretty solid films, and now I'm starting to feel a little burned out on them. So I'm wondering if they're going to reach this peak interest in this film genre, because superheroes have become their own genre now at this point, kind of like westerns.
Yeah.
So
see, I've noticed a lot of people have been saying that a lot lately, and I think I haven't hit that burnout point yet, but I also don't watch a lot of movies, period. I rarely watch a full-length film at all. And so most of the movies that I watch happen to be superhero movies, so it's kind of interesting that you say that, because a lot of people have been saying that, and I'm sitting here wondering, why have I not come across this? But I think people who watch, I guess, a dramatically lower amount of films, I don't know how much you watch, but I've noticed for me that hasn't really been a huge issue, unless the movie just flat out isn't that great, and that's kind of disappointing. Fantastic Four.
I actually haven't seen that one yet. I need to watch that.
Yeah.
See,
I was
I see a lot of movies. I see a lot. I watch a lot. The only thing I'm getting burnt out on is I want more. I don't know if it's just me, but I want more mainstream characters to be done right.
Yeah.
You know, like redo the Punisher, right? You know, the last Punisher movie I thought was good. The first half of it was good until they brought Jigsaw in after his face was all messed up. Then the movie kind of just went woo downhill.
Have you seen
I have
Daredevil?
to say, I think the nice thing about was Punisher Warzone, was that movie R-rated?
Yes.
Was it? Wow, okay, I didn't feel like it, but I didn't care for that movie at all. But I'm really happy with how I need to finish Netflix, but I'm really happy with how they're doing it right now because it's pretty entertaining and kind of dark.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he's getting his own standalone.
Yeah,
So,
I heard that. Yeah.
Yes.
along with a few other ones. Oh, I don't think I mentioned this, but just a short mention that Cloak and Dagger are getting their own standalone TV show. Not Netflix, though. It's on a new show called Freeform, which I think was formerly ABC Family, possibly.
Cloak and Dagger?
Yeah. I can't remember their real names, but they're two Marvel characters that I think were really cool.
Oh, shit, okay. I remember them now.
Yeah, they were first introduced to me in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1, I believe. Possibly 2.
I ran into these characters while playing Maximum Carnage on the Sega Genesis. That was the first time I ever ran into these characters.
Oh. So,
You
I had to
said
throw that
you
up there
post a
real quick.
link. I want to know who they are.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know who they are. I just know Luke Cage is getting a Netflix TV show coming up here pretty quick.
Iron Fist better get one too, so they can be.
No, Iron Fist as well. He's getting his as well, and then after I think the first 2 seasons, they'll be putting them together as their own show together.
Oh, good. This is a great
Or
movie.
movie.
But yeah, when you guys said Cloak and Dagger, I thought you were talking about that fucking '80s movie. If you ever saw that one.
For
At
sure,
the
good
Atari.
memory.
Well, okay, Cloak and Dagger. It's a A's movie. Had like Atari 5200s in it, and like this. It's like this whole thing where like these guys steal this Atari 5200 cartridge from a laboratory, and it has like the secret plans to the SR-71 Blackbird on it. It's just this whole like murder mystery whodunit kind of thing with the kid from E.T. in it. It's fantastic. Yeah, Bearded Gamer's seen it.
See, one thing I want to see, because they did the Daredevil movie, I want to see Marvel take that stick out of their ass and really just put all the money into one big basket and say we're going balls out, and this is going to be the end of our phase for the Marvel movies, and finish it all off with Marvel Zombies. You know, finish all their phases, and then at the end of it, Marvel Zombies rated R.
I'd
And
watch that.
Yeah, ironically, they could bring Sam Raimi back, considering that Ash is a character in that Marvel series
mhm.
from Evil Dead. But, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But all I can say is I'm actually, after watching the trailer for Star Wars Rogue One, am genuinely excited for it. So I can say that.
Yes, actually, and I wanted to backtrack real quick because there's 2 people that I wanted to bring up that I forgot to mention, which was, of course, you have Forrest Whitaker in the movie, and I can't tell who he's playing, and then you also have Donnie Yen in the movie.
Yeah. I almost thought.
Oh, go ahead.
I almost thought Forrest Whitaker looks like he's wearing like Mandalorian armor or something like that. So he might be like a bounty hunter or a Mandalorian along the lines of Boba Fett or Jango Fett.
That might be a good point. Because you couldn't really tell. He didn't sound like an outright bad guy. He wasn't working for the Empire. But he didn't. I'm pretty sure he was like an independent sort of situation.
So Mandalorian, in some regards. If you ever follow the backstory of Mandalorians.
I only know a little bit from what my friends have told me, but I've never researched them myself, so I don't.
Oh, Mandalorians were badass because like they had the whole thing where like Boba Fett was a Mandalorian, so warrior race. But what really expanded the lore of the Mandalorians was Star Wars: The Old Republic, the first game, KOTOR, yeah, and it had a fantastic story about them. And like the Mandalorians used to have like several worlds, and they gathered their strength so effectively that they threatened the entire Republic. So much so that Revan had to basically militarize the Republic and created the Empire, created a new empire to fight the Mandalorians, and then turn that back around to fight the Republic. So it was fucking good stuff. So the Mandalorian did a really deep, kind of cool thing like that. This is just a theory. I was thinking just based on the gear he was wearing, he struck me as kind of a Mandalorian. But Forrest Whitaker is a solid fucking actor, and I think anything he's gonna be doing in that film is gonna be fucking gold.
Yeah, and then the action is definitely going to be good if you have Donnie Yen in it. He's an amazing martial artist. I think he's a great actor. I haven't seen him speak English before, so that's going to be interesting if he does.
Doesn't need to.
Well, yeah, he could just do an alien and do subtitles, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just curious to see how his dialogue is going to go, if he even talks. I know he's going to kick ass. That's going to be great for me. So somebody please, I just want to say this now. Please, any footage of him in the movie, because he's not a Jedi or a Sith, I don't think. Put a lightsaber on him, just for the hell of it, please. Just for some giggles. I just want to say that now. All you talented video editors out there, do it for me. I'd like to see that.
So there's just, I guess, one last thing, or two things that I just want to quickly throw out there. All right, to the world, because one of them is huge news, bigger news than Rogue One. Bigger news than any of the Marvel movies, bigger news than Spider-Man, bigger news than Barack Obama, bigger news than Justin Trudeau. This is huge news. The producers have announced that the new Indiana Jones movie will be a direct sequel to the 2008 Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So it will take place right after it.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf. All right.
More monkeys.
So here's what they mean by that, though, is they don't necessarily mean it's like a continuation of that story, though. Because if you realize, like you look at the chronological order, is it went Raiders and then Temple of Doom, but Temple of Doom was technically a prequel to Raiders. So chronologically, the films are all fucked up in the sense that they're all over the place. So what they mean by that is it's going to take place after, but it's not going to be the same story. Well, not the same adventure anyway.
No,
Right.
no, exactly. It's a new story, but it's taking place chronologically after, which
After the
means
event, yeah.
we have to deal with more old man balls.
Well, I mean,
Harrison
how
Ford.
else are they going to do that? Because pretty much the
Yeah.
only reason Harrison Ford was in Star Wars Episode 7 was so he could make another fucking Indiana Jones movie. That was the only reason he took that paycheck, I'm pretty sure.
They could do him like Jeff Bridges and Tron.
That looked so bad. Looked like fucking rubber, man.
Oh.
But it's just... I think there's a lot of potential there. He could just be a really strong old guy, because, you know, if he just stops breaking his hip every time he shows up, plays, or I don't know, or crashing his airplanes, I think Harrison Ford's got another 20 years in him, no problem.
Yeah, he's pretty badass if he can survive a plane crash. Just saying.
Yeah.
Not many
So, I mean,
people
there's
can say that.
there's potential there. It could be fun. I don't know. I really wish they would just do like a weird thing where it's like, just go after the Spear of Destiny and just pretend Hitler's still alive or something. Because Indiana Jones was at his best when he was killing Nazis, not Soviets. That's just me.
Damn,
Oh.
Nazis.
Oh, speaking of Hitler, sorry. Not that there's a Hitler. I was reading something that there's a show on Netflix called Guess Who's Back, and it's a show about Hitler coming back in the 20th century, dealing with modern day stuff.
Is that a real show? This was a best-selling book in Germany, and it's about Hitler wakes up in Berlin now, and people think he's just playing a bit, but he's actually Hitler, and then they give him a talk show.
Wow.
Oh my god, if they're actually doing that. Oh my god.
It's a big hit. The show itself is a big hit in Germany, so they're putting it on Netflix.
Holy shit. Check this out. But it's
So-
based on a best-selling book there, and it's just fucking hilarious. It's like, tonight on Hitler! We're going to talk about Susan Sarandon.
I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah. That could be... What was it? There was a British show. something like Führer, like I can't. It was some kind of Nazi pun about being a couple, and it was Eva von Braun and Hitler, and they had Jewish neighbors, and they hated them, but it was one of those really awful TV shows, and you're like, oh dear God.
It was canceled after one episode.
Yeah. Wow.
It was where Hitler and his wife lived beside Jews, and it's just like, who thought this was a good idea?
Mein Führer!
Like, you just shake your head. But I just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyone interested in watching Hitler in the 21st century? Yeah, Netflix.
Well, so there's no way I'm going to top that topic. So I would say that's a good note to end it on then, because that's pretty epic there. So we'll go on the line, starting with moviegoer, letting the people knows where they can find you. Oh.
I'm the moviegoer. You can catch me on the ConsoleExplosion.com and also on the Console Explosion Twitch, where I stream on every Tuesday is Toon Tuesday, and every Thursday is 80s Night, where I play games from the 80s and your past. Again, that's the Moviegoer 14 on the Console Explosion Twitch channel. Make sure you follow and like us, and hit that like button down there, because I'm the moviegoer, and you can watch me get in fights with my brother.
Those are the best part of the stream. When he argues with his brother. I love those. They're great.
You sound a little raspy there, moviegoer, but all right, moving on.
It was like his voice was being projected from something. It was what's going on there.
It's top notch. All right, Ian. So where can they find you? What do you do?
You can find me. You can find me on YouTube, The Historic Nerd, or my own website, www.historicnerd.com. Or if you want to talk to me directly, you can talk to me at historicalnerd on Twitter.com, or you can find me, of course, at theconsoleexplosion.com.
And Mr. Jared, everyone knows where they can find you, but if you have anything else to add before we head out.
No, just if you guys enjoyed what you're watching, all the people live there, if you enjoyed what you're watching and you're not following us, you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, just click that little button, subscribe to us, like the video. Every like and every subscribe helps us overall, and if you haven't checked us out on Twitch, do that as well. But right there's the Twitter, at Console Explosion. If you have any questions, want to be part of the podcast, you're doing it, and we enjoy it.
Yeah, and thanks for dropping by and commenting and all that.
I could not have made a better point myself. And to add on to that, if there's any movies that we missed that were announced, let us know what they are. If there's anything that you guys are looking forward to or not looking forward to in what we talked about, let us know that as well. As always, I'm The Philosopher. You can find me on Facebook.com/ThePhilosopher or /Philosopher, YouTube and Twitter, The Philosopher, and of course, always on the Console Explosion. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, hang on, one thing. Sorry, one thing. Because it is Wednesdays, you can always catch the podcast live on YouTube. And following the podcast, make sure you jump over to our Twitch channel, to where the Bearded Gamer will be streaming on our Twitch. Every Wednesday, you get double whammy of the Console Explosion. You get the podcast, followed by some awesome streaming.
So I think I might go check that out now. So I'm going to go do that. I will see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.